fans of the Monday Movie Club. This week we watched Demolition Man, which was Mark's choice. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with us is Joel Fenster, Andy King, who is King of the Vino, Amy Goldman.
King of the Sloths.
And Mark Wotitz Gardner, who has the picture up, so that makes me say, oh, I guess he likes this movie.
Unlike you, yes.
Mark, why Demolition Man?
Can we just talk about Avatar 2? Because I don't think you guys like this one. Why
or
this
A2 is A2 as we're calling
it. Yeah, A2.
A2.
No, I love action movies. That's my genre. And to me, this takes an action movie. It adds in. It's funny. It's clever. It's sci-fi. It's futuristic. I know it's not perfect, and I'm a huge martial artist. So Wesley Snipes is a fantastic martial artist. I enjoy pretty much everything about the movie. That's why.
You know, their noses are poking your ears right now.
I do, and I'm picking their noses.
All right.
Go ahead, just do it. Get it over with.
It started with that whole, I know you said ignore the first 11 minutes, but how ridiculous. Send a maniac to catch a maniac.
I like that line. I remember that line.
Yeah, he killed like 40 people before he even found Wesley Snipes. And the whole thing with the cryogenics, oh, good Lord. There were so many ridiculous things. Let me just say a few of them. The pre-credit sequence was just ridiculous. Badly written, badly acted. Oh, good Lord. And why did Wesley Snipes go? And he just wouldn't listen. You don't listen with this thing here. I didn't understand that. You didn't listen. And even Stallone was warning us when they were reading him the reasons why he was getting cryogenic. He kept saying, skip it, skip it. I was like, oh, if I could. If I could. But, you know, I love that, you know, it was my idea to start this stupid club. But I love that we got to see all these movies that we wouldn't normally see. I mean, I actually did see this, I think, when it came out. And I probably didn't hate it as much as I did now. But Stallone looks great. He really does look great. I mean, you know, and this role is just another cop. He's played so many of these over the years. And so he gets thrown into the future because he got cryogenicked, which why was that a 10-minute segment? It was like, whoa, in the Jello. I don't know. And you did see his junk a little bit, I think. Yeah. Anyway, and so this becomes a fish out of water story because he obviously doesn't know the rules of the future. And then what is this new law, the MDK? Murder, death, kill. What is that, MDK?
Well, a 187 is legit. That's what a murder is called now. That's the code for it.
It's so they murder, death, kill?
It's a murder. A homicide is a code 187, so they change it to murder, death, kill. Just like Joy and all the silly things that they have in the future. It's the society.
And Sandra Bullock deservedly won a Golden Raspberry Award as the worst supporting actress. I would have just given it to her just for those over-tweezed eyebrows. Good Lord.
She's so cute in this.
Oh, damn it. You just said two of my notes.
Did I? Oh my God.
Come here, honey.
But there's lots of familiar faces in this movie, for sure. And Bob Gunton, he looked like a Nazi. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. And Benjamin Bratt, how cute and young is he in this movie?
I actually thought, wow, that looks like a young Benjamin Bratt. Wow, that's so much like him.
And then him and Sandra Bullock.
It was him.
Him and Sandra Bullock went on to do Miss Congeniality together.
Oh, right.
I thought you were going to say they had a relationship.
Me too.
Probably. And that high-fiving without touching, was this like they knew about COVIDs? Was that what this was?
I have a whole segment on that. Hold on.
Rob Schneider, uncredited, unbilled in this. Thank God.
As he should be.
Nobody would want it on their resume. And so 28 minutes in, we get our first wait your turn to fight the bad guy cliche. That's okay. You go. All right, I'll try it. Oh no, you go. Okay. And then Stallone gets defrosted. It's 2032, and he says, "How long have I been under?" I guess math was not his strong point when they told him what year it was, and he knew what year he got left in. And of course, the only guns are in the impenetrable museum in the Hall of Violence. Of course.
Oh my God,
Somebody-
hang on. I have a sidewalk shed built in front of my window and a guy just walked right across my window. No, you can continue.
I wish I understood what that meant. She's not on the first floor.
That's why it's a little unnerving to have
It's a
somebody
very
walking
tall
outside.
shed.
Oh, do they have? Maybe she meant scaffolding. Is there
It's called the
scaffolding?
sidewalk shed that, you walk under, so when they're working on the roof of the building and things fall, it lands on the shed and it's always right at my window level. I can go out and perform on the stage.
And why is he? Oh, so why was this
The
guy
guy
walking?
just walked by.
Yeah, and you
A
went to say
worker.
hello.
Well, I don't want him seeing me sitting here in my sloppy mess of a place.
But we can see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But today I do nothing.
It's okay for everybody on Facebook to see it, but not the guy
Yeah.
that's right outside the window.
No, God forbid. He's a potential husband.
Yeah, you didn't see this guy.
So many wonderful lines. Somebody put me back in the fridge. What seems to be your boggle? Amy, what seems to be your boggle?
I was waiting for them to make a joke about that.
Yeah, you love boggle.
I love that.
Excuse me, Rambo, I need this. Did they borrow them from Planet Hollywood? The statues in the museum? And he yells at when they have their first fight, Stallone throws the TV and says, "You're on TV." I'm like, no, the TV's on him. That's wrong. And it's so 90s. The whole thing was just so 90s. And how cute President Schwarzenegger.
And it's another one of my lines. That was cute.
Who's writing the amendment? Because how he couldn't be any worse, really. And Taco Bell being a fancy restaurant. I mean, there was some cutenesses.
Did you catch that was Dan Cortez singing the Jolly Green Giant song from MTV?
Okay.
No.
That makes it a very
And-
90s movie, Mark.
I'm okay with that.
But of course, 2032? 2032 becomes dated when Sandra Bullock says, you're even better live than on Laserdisc.
I wanted to ask Joel about that, and the Laserdisc comment. Yeah.
And a reference no kid will get today. Like, well, Laserdisc, what's a Laserdisc? And Wesley Snipes being very current. Jeffrey Dahmer, I love that guy.
Exactly.
And then the theme song was sung by Sting.
It's a
Never heard
terrible
it before.
song.
Never
Wait.
heard it.
Me neither.
Did not chart. I looked. I don't know why. And Dennis Leary is wondering why he sold his soul to be in this movie. I mean, no, he was trying to make a transition to being an actor. And all right, so
Dennis Leary says it was the biggest piece of shit he's ever been in.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
it's not unwarranted. So I will give it a begrudged 2 stars.
Wow.
And thank God there was no Demolition 2. Although, I don't know, with the way HBO Max is going, who knows? All right. Annie, did you enjoy it? Had you seen it before was my first question.
No,
No.
never saw it. And I think it all goes back to maybe if I had seen it when it came out, I might
Right.
have enjoyed it more because I talk about my movie of the week to everybody. So everybody knows they're always like, what's your movie of the week? So I was talking to my brother and he was like, oh yeah, great movie when I brought it
And
up.
this is what, 1993? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like action movies. I do, but I guess not having seen it originally, I was like, oh, this movie is so stupid. It's just so stupid, and it didn't do anything for me. I thought Sandra Bullock was horrible. It was just a terrible role. It was so
And
ridiculous.
she really was terrible. And But the thing is, again, yes, I think you're perfectly right, because in 1993, again, we definitely went to see it, and I definitely thought, it was cute, whatever. But I guess in light of everything that's gone on since then, movie wise, it really doesn't hold up.
Yeah, so what my notes were those sex helmets.
Oh my God. Another note I wrote. That was like the worst scene I've ever seen in movies.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. But other than that, I did do the high five I had written down and stuff. But yeah, no, the only part I like maybe was the fish out of water thing. That was a little funny, and
Yeah, but even that got a little tiresome. All right, we get it. It's totally different in the future.
yes. So that, yeah, 2.5 stars for me.
2.5. Aim, did you see this in 1993?
No, definitely wouldn't have been my type of movie. But like you said, I'm glad I actually finally got to see it.
Yeah.
I wrote just a few notes. I said the day-to-day costumes were ridiculous. I can't believe they came up with that. Thank God the pencil thin eyebrows went out of style. They were killing me. And I wrote so far, because this was like maybe 20 minutes into after we met her, so far Sandra Bullock's acting is painful. I started thinking it's gonna change. She's doing this on purpose. You must now leave my domicile. This can't go on. And she's not she's a good actress in real life. I don't understand what she was doing, but it wasn't working.
Yeah, she was trying to do, comedy.
Oh my God. And speaking of comedy, I had no idea that this movie is supposed to be funny, supposed to be a satire. People love it for the comedy. So that did surprise me. But I found the writing terrible, and most of the jokes just didn't work at all. I thought some were cute. Like you said, Schwarzenegger was present. I wrote the Schwarzenegger library. I love when Stallone called the Dr. Cocteau. Oh. Spacely Sprockets. I wonder how many people today would even get that joke. I love that. And I
Well,
wrote the way people talk is so weird, like leave my domicile. They all had such weird, stupid ways of talking. The way they shoot each other, each of the two leads, Schwarzenegger and what's his nuts, Wesley, they're like worse than stormtroopers. My God, they would go like this right in front of you and miss every time. That was awful. I thought the commercials were very cute. It was fun reliving some of them. Not so much the Oscar Mayer one, but the other one, I think it was a dog food commercial or something that I loved. But there was just so many silly little holes. Like when he put the flame right in front of the gas, that would have gone way up.
As Jay Leno found out.
Yeah, right. And also, all these guns in the museum not only work after decades, but they're all loaded.
I know.
Getting more bullets somewhere.
Not just loaded. There's a stockpile of ammo for each and every one of them.
Yeah, that's what I just said. He keeps getting all these bullets too. And he kept wasting bullets. I mean, stop wasting them. You don't have that many to waste. So it was pretty painful. I'm going to give it 2.25 stars. I'll go in the middle. They tried. It was a valiant effort, but
Not the first time Amy said, I'll go in the middle. Joel Fenster, movie maven.
So I did see this movie.
Wait, who directed this movie? Marco
something I never heard of.
Yeah, he's only done like one other movie. This was his debut, and obviously he did so well.
So there are no good Marco movies.
No, there are not. I'm sorry that I can't remember his last name, that nobody can pronounce it in here. I don't even remember, how many hands touched the script. But it showed.
Was it one of those that kept getting passed around?
I saw this when it came out. I did not see it in theaters. I saw it on home video because I had a store. I had to watch it. And I remember enjoying it back in the 90s. It was goofy, fun, sci-fi. Yeah, watching it now, completely different story. It feels like the movies I saw as a kid from the 50s and 60s that were already dated because they predicted the future completely wrong. You know, we have what 7 or 8 years before this future is our present, and I'm like, yeah, none of this is happening.
Well,
Uh,
I never saw this movie as
Well,
a
I no, no,
prognosticator. What do I mean?
I never
Prognostication of what was actually going to happen.
I never see a movie with that in mind. It's just
Right.
I find it funny how there are some movies that hit that on the head perfectly almost, and there are some movies that like we're not even trying or we didn't even
Right.
try. And it had that,
Right.
you know, for a movie that was only made in the 90s, it feels really dated.
Joel, I'm gonna address that when I speak, but all I'll say is they got it more right than Back to the Future too.
Well,
With the fax machine.
with the laser disc stuff, Back to the Future 2 got that right because they were all piled up in the back alley and with next to the garbage, you know. Whereas here,
where Joel picked them all up and put them in his rec room.
exactly, yeah. um,
Now,
it's-
Joel, I hope you do get rid of your laser discs when they're not when everything's been replaced. You get rid of them, right?
well, what do you find is being replaced?
Like every element on the laser disc is on some other physical media you have.
Yes, I
Okay.
have been getting rid of laser discs in those instances, but you'd be surprised at what I still have. So
No, I wouldn't.
I'm taking those 3 James Bond Criterion laser discs to my grave with me
All right.
because those are never being replaced. Anyway,
Now,
it's
have you
fun.
copied them? Have you digitized them?
I might have.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not legal. So
Exactly.
he hasn't done that. No.
Exactly.
All right, Joel.
Anyway, back to this movie. It's goofy fun, but in a terrible way. It would make a great MST3K movie at this point.
Oh,
You
okay.
just kind of sit around with a bunch of friends drinking and make fun of it as it's running. I will admit I loved Wesley Snipes because he is not just chewing the scenery, he's like eating it in giant chunks throughout the entire movie. He's the best part of the movie.
I
Stallone's
actually had no problem with him or with Stallone. I thought they were
Stallone,
perfectly fine.
Stallone is very much in, you know, 80s, 90s Stallone mode. He actually can be a really great actor when he's given the right material, but this is just typical Stallone material, and you know, he's just going through the motions. So there's nothing wrong with it, but I always like to see something better. If you know, like right now I'm watching Tulsa King on Paramount Plus with him. That's a fish out of water story, and it's a bazillion times better than this. You know,
Oh, okay.
and he's great in that. So there's a plug for that. I don't work for
All right.
Paramount, so, but anyway,
I will put it on my list.
we've all said that Sandra Bullock was terrible. You know, what else is there to say? She was terrible.
Yeah, but you gotta think the director never corrected her,
Oh
so
no.
he
Well,
obviously
and
thought that was what she should be doing.
You
it's
probably
not
thought it was
just
funny.
it's
Yeah.
not just her terrible acting, it's her terrible acting of horrific writing. You know,
Yeah.
it's the
What about
dialogue.
her line? What about the lines that she would get wrong? Let's go down there and blow this guy. Did nobody
That
laugh
was
at that?
cute.
It was
Okay.
cute, but it wasn't like, you know, funny. I didn't laugh out loud
Yeah.
at
Right.
a lot of that stuff. The
Right.
stuff I was laughing at was the stuff that was just like ridiculously implausible, like, you know, the museum with the firearms that are completely loaded and, you know, things like that. But you know, I'll give them a little bit more than everybody else for the effort. I'm going to give it a 2.75. You know, Rob Schneider's presence really wants me to give it a 2.5, but I'll ignore that for right now, and I'll go a little bit higher.
So Rob Schneider in a movie immediately loses quarter of a star.
Usually it loses everything, but you know, in this case, he's balanced out by, you
Yeah,
know,
he's not the lead, so
no, but he's there. So, by the way,
and
did anybody look up how you use the 3 shells?
I would
Danielle
love to
did.
know.
I don't
And I
think it
love
was
that
ever
they didn't.
explained.
I love that they didn't explain
Didn't
it.
explain it. I looked it up online for an explanation for this thing, and apparently 2 of the shells you use to grip and pull whatever's coming out, and the other one you use to scrape off whatever's left.
That hurts. Sounds like it hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does, doesn't it?
All right.
Before we go
I
to Mark, there's just one other thing I forgot to say, that Bob Gunton's character became so one-dimensional and so angry. Like everything Stallone did, he hated, and they kept calling him Neanderthal and all this stuff. And I thought, if I met somebody who came back from the past, I would be like, oh my God, you have to see all this cool stuff. I would love that. So that drove me crazy too. I hate when somebody's just written one-dimensional and that's it.
Well, obviously he saw him as a hindrance to what he was trying to accomplish.
Well,
God.
what bugged me about his character was also that he was alive back before the
Yeah.
future changed. So this should not be a big surprise to him how people
Good
acted.
point. Good point.
All right, Mark. Well, obviously we all thank you for this adventure.
And I just wanted to say that I'm glad I finally get to torture you guys, as I have also been tortured by some of the selections. So
Little big man.
yeah, exactly. And by the way, did anybody catch that the young version of the black officer is you're going to see him next week in Die Hard? He's one of the Johnsons,
Oh, how funny.
also in a helicopter.
Funny.
Okay, let's talk about all the things that the movie got right, Joel.
I'm
Okay.
very interested to hear what this says.
Well, one, COVID restrictions. Two, tablets. Right, the warden was on an iPad, basically getting people
Yes.
out of prison. 3, virtual meetings. Right.
Yep.
4, Schwarzenegger as a politician. He did go on to be governor. And 5, the industrial something or other database was basically the internet. Now I know the internet was technically around at this point, but nobody actually had it. So
Just for the record, I'm gonna discount your tablet thing because Star Trek was doing that decades before. So
Hey, Dick Tracy was doing the iWatch.
that's true. Yeah.
and
But
Get
yeah,
Smart
that
was
was
talking
cute when
to a
she was
shoe.
in the car and talking to her boss on video. I was like, okay, they totally got that right.
And I thought that I did think the commercials were cute too, as the oldie station.
Okay, I
Um,
must say, when you said let's talk about what the movie got right, I thought you meant as a cinematic masterpiece. I didn't think you meant future
No,
Yeah, me too.
ideas.
Yeah.
What
It's
did
not a
it get right
masterpiece.
as what did it get right as a movie?
It entertains the hell out of me. I could watch this over. I could watch it again today.
Is it
Um,
it was a 12-year-old boy thing? How old were you in 1993?
I was graduating high school, so I was 18.
Wow.
And I was also getting back into martial arts. And
Target
and that's what I was going to say. I mean, the way that Wesley Snipes moved, I don't know if you guys pick up on this stuff. I as a martial artist, I love this. When somebody moves well, and you get just the way that the way he threw his kicks, he's very athletic and he is a legit martial artist. And I appreciate that as a viewer. And I love this dialogue. You could tell. I think it was Joel that said he had fun. You could tell he just went with it and just. I mean, what did I write? This is lovely. He wrote at some point. He said at some point. I mean, what homicidal maniac in movies says a line like that? They're usually just cursing and this and that. And I know there's plenty of cursing, but I appreciated some of his dialogue.
I'm actually sorry that Wesley Snipes didn't have a better career.
Well, that's why Stallone brought it back in Expendables 3. And there was a whole joke in there because he's supposed to be another maniac there. And at some point, someone says, they break him out of prison. Like, what'd you go to prison for? And he says tax evasion, which is what he really did go to prison for. So anyway, what else? You said it already. The Jeffrey Dahmer reference was very timely.
Except they got it wrong because he died before the cryogenic stuff was started. So
yeah, true. We even get 2 seconds of titties in there too, which I it's funny for me who always loves that stuff. When I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that part.
I thought you had all those catalogs.
I have a lot of it. I do have some of it, but not every little bit.
Obviously.
And despite Sandra Bullock's acting maybe again, this is the whole, I've watched it so many times and I don't really notice that it's bad. I'm okay with it, but I did like that they addressed her first kill realistically, that she was so upset over it. As a police officer, you don't get that in movie. So I appreciated that. I love that the captain from Lethal Weapon made a cameo in the opening credits, and then the rest of the movie was a Lethal Weapon poster in her office. What else? I don't know. I just I don't know why people have to get frozen with their legs wide apart. Everybody knows it. Everyone. It wasn't just Sloan. Everyone's frozen. Your knees just go.
The material that's freezing you has to get into every crevice, otherwise it won't free.
There you go. And I love that they never tell you what the 3 seashells are, which is fantastic. I'm going 3.25 stars. I'm sorry nobody liked it as much. I find it fun. I laughed at all the parts. So it's just like how everyone else loves their movie and other people don't love it. It works for me.
Fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
what
But as Anthony Carrigal would say, your ass is out. Okay. Demolition Man is available on
Anthony
HBO
Carrigal
Max.
would also say this.
Right. And every other joke he would have gone, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. All right. Demolition Man is available on HBO Max if you subscribe to that service. And well, hey, let's watch it again on August 3rd, 2032, which is when he gets defrosted.
I'm in.
All right, next week we're going to watch our Christmas selection, which is Die Hard. And that's available on Stars, which we don't have anymore because Mark gave it up again. Anybody else have any comments? No.
Die
Okay.
Hard will be on probably 7 different stations, 7 different times anyway this time of year.
Yeah, but I don't like to watch. You can't watch movies with ads. That's not the way they were meant to be.
No, and there were some very good R-rated lines that yippee-ki-yay motherfucker. You don't want to hear yippee-ki-yay, whatever they say,
Stupid guy.
Yeah,
Motherfudger.
Mother trucker.
Motherfudger.
It's on Hulu. Does Hulu have commercials?
It has ads, but I believe it's still intact with any language or whatever.
Yeah, but
Hulu has.
the Hulu ads, if you can, if you have the version with ads, I think the movies only have ads at the very beginning. There's like 2 or 3 minutes of them.
I think you're right.
It
Okay.
just goes, so
That's weird. I didn't say it was on Hulu.
you didn't. But Annie looked it up apparently. Yes,
That's
she corrected you again.
Again, yes.
I'm happy to be corrected, but I do not think it's on Hulu. Why wouldn't it say it was on Hulu if it was on Hulu? Or maybe it just got there.
Where are you looking?
I'm on Hulu right now. I'm going to type it in.
I just Googled.
Die Hard.
Sometimes when you Google it, sometimes it's out of date.
Oh yeah, but it says you can watch it with Stars. That's what it says. So you have to get
Stars
you have to
subscription.
subscribe to Stars through Hulu.
Oh wow.
So I am still correct.
You are
All right, I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. Avatar 2 is coming out. A2.
Me
correct.
too.
Yeah.
You might want
Already
to
out.
see that in 3D. Oh, it's already out?
Yep.
Oh, how's it doing?
Am I
$3
stopping
billion already.
letting this run through this conversation?
Yeah, you can stop it now,
Okay.
Joel. Thanks.